Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I bring you, what if Goku was a time traveler? During the events of Dragon Ball Z, Fukatsu no F. What if Whis sent Goku further in time than anticipated? With his current abilities, will he correct the errors of the past in order for a better future? The story is called Goku's Time Travel Adventure. Created by Fanfiction author SSJ Kazuto. The link of both the story and the author will be in the description down below. If you guys want more what if videos such as these, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. You can change all of this, Goku. Please do not let your personality affect your decisions. Your moral judgment is more than enough. Whis states as he activates the time travel procedure. Goku frowns, saddened that he had to resort to time travel to fix things he could have ended. Whis trained him in his godly realm, but he didn't apply that training. His attitude got the best of him. Oh, okay. I guess it really was me and Vegeta's fault for not ending things, huh? Whis nodded in response. I trust you'll use my methods. This is your only chance, after all. Goku grinned, scratching the back of his head. With a final nod, Whis transported Goku moments before the current events. Oh, so he thought. Past, the martial artist landed in a clearing. The place seemed familiar, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. On top of that, he couldn't sense Frieza's ki nor Vegeta's. He could sense the human Z-Fighters and Piccolo, but they were a lot weaker than he thought. Wasn't he supposed to be at the battlefield right now instead of here? Goku! A feminine voice shouted. Goku shrieked as he turned around to meet his wife, Chi-Chi. Goku said in surprise. Joy soon overcame him as he picked his wife and swung her around frantically. Chi-Chi was taken back at his husband's abrupt sign of obvious joy, but for whatever reason? Shrugging, she got out of Goku's grasp and yelled at him once again. Goku! She started. You've been out here training for Kami knows how long and you haven't come home since. Now move it, she said as she pushed Goku to the direction of their house. This only aroused the Scion's suspicion as he wasn't even supposed to be training. He was supposed to be at the battlefield fighting Frieza. Chi-Chi? What date is it? Goku asked as a final test to see if Whis time travel was accurate. October 12, 761, Chi-Chi answered. Goku's mental train stopped right in its tracks and literally exploded. He'd been sent to the day where Raditz invaded Earth. Goku straightened himself and flew to the house, picking up Chi-Chi bridal style, God realm, oh. Lord Beerus. It seems that I have accidentally sent the Super Saiyan God further back in time. I think I used a bit too much ki on the procedure. Whis laughed nervously. You idiot Whis. And here I thought you had perfect ki control. Beerus, the god of destruction, groaned with annoyance. Well, it was my first time transporting someone to the past rather than transporting myself, he said in protest. However, it did nothing to sway Beerus' judgment. Even you, the greatest being of all 12 dimensions, have the slightest ki control errors. The god of destruction stated. It is not a ki-based means of transportation. It's a spell, to correct your false statement. Magic never really was my forte. He confuted. Beerus shrugged his shoulders and went to sit on a king-sized couch to watch Goku's reaction of being pushed further in time. However, Whis grabbed Beerus by his tail. Certainly not, Lord Beerus. With all due respect, you will brush your teeth and take a shower before you watch anything, the life form declared. But Beerus protested only to meet Whis nodding sideways. He got out of Whis' iron grip and walked to the bathroom with a humph. The teacher sighed, needing to work out a few kinks of the spell. Goku soon arrived with his wife, who was looking winded as she was set on the couch. A young Gohan soon arrived into the living room where he would see his mother sprawled on the couch. He looked at his father in confusion. What happened to mommy? He asked his carefree, gentle father. He laughed nervously, once again scratching the back of his head. When you're older, son. The low-class Scion's expression then turned serious as he contemplated about the situation he was in. He needed to get back to his timeline. Well, he technically was, but just in the past. Then the Z-Warrior came to a conclusion: he'd have to change history, for the better at least. None of the errors of his timeline will apply to this one. He then gave out a hearty laugh, even waking up Chi-Chi from her slumber. I'm starting to think like Trunks. Goku realized. Who's Trunks? Mother and son both said simultaneously. He gulped, no need to know. He gave another chuckle, albeit a nervous one. Guys, I'll be back down in a sec. I need to check something. Chi-Chi frowned. Goku has been acting weird since he went to train. XV. Goku sat cross-legged. Since he traveled back in time, did that mean his strength decreased? He cupped his hands and a ball of yellow ki faded into existence between his hands. He sensed his own ki and out came a sigh of relief. His power level, Super Saiyan transformations and his Mastered God transformation were all retained. He was old enough so he was sure his body could handle the stress. He'd dealt with it before. However, he'd have to suppress his ki, otherwise the other Z-Warriors would get suspicious of the sudden change of power level in the span of a day. Standing up, he descended the stairs and returned to his family. Chi-Chi seemed to be cooking dinner adequate for the needs of his appetite. He smiled and kneeled to Gohan's level. Hey Gohan, do you want to go to Master Roshi's to see the gang? Gohan nodded in approval. He turned to his mother. Mom, can I go? Chi-Chi contemplated about it but eventually gave in. Okay, but don't let that perv, Master Roshi, near my baby. She demanded, Goku nodding in response. After dinner, which Goku and Gohan both devoured messily, the ex-martial artist smirked. Those two. Goku called for Nimbus even though he could fly. Old habit, I guess. He deemed. The two happily jumped on Nimbus, with Gohan on Goku's lap. And with a whoosh, they left the sun residence, leaving dust particles in their wake. Gohan decided to start a conversation. So daddy, how are your friends like? Goku grinned as, ironically, he traveled back in time to where he met Bulma, to when he returned for the 23rd martial arts tournament. Ah, nostalgia. He sighed. The Saiyan turned to his son. They're the best kind of friends you could ever have, despite the problems within the group. He quietly chuckled, referring to Master Roshi. Wow. You must be pretty happy with them. Goku nodded in response. Nimbus stopped at its destination, Kame House. Goku and Gohan hopped out, waving to Nimbus as it flew away. Goku then entered the house. Hey guys. It's me, Goku. He waved. The Z-Warriors waved back and replied W, saying hello simultaneously. Raditz should be here in 15 minutes, so I should be ready. Goku calculated based on the rate his ki was coming to Earth. They all chatted happily. Goku was careful not to reveal any slight hints or references that the wise turtle hermit could figure out. 15 minutes later, Kakarot. Reveal yourself. A voice outside the residence called. Goku frowned, wondering if he could change his brother's ways. He opened the door to meet his brother, Raditz. Goku entered his fighting stance, ready to strike. Who are you? He demanded. The Saiyan smirked, his tail swishing around. I'm your brother, Raditz. He replied. Goku frowned, I don't have a brother. Goku was repeating what was said back when he actually faced Raditz, despite knowing he actually was his brother. Listen up, Kakarot. You're a part of an elite race called the Saiyans. You were sent here to eradicate this planet, but you obviously failed in doing so. Raditz stated, disappointed. If you don't destroy 100 people, that brat will be history. He said, pointing to Gohan. He leapt to where Gohan was, but Goku stopped him. Oh no you don't. He elbowed his elder brother's back before he could grab Gohan, sending him flying. Gore. That actually hurt. He admitted. But he wouldn't let that hinder him as he brushed it off and rushed at his younger brother. He effortlessly dodged all of his attacks. In fact, with Whis training, who pointed out all his and Vegeta's flaws. It made it a whole lot easier, as he could even see how flawed Raditz' fighting was. This is easy, but with Raditz, of course it would be. He thought. Due to the fight taking longer than it should be in the original timeline, Piccolo had been secretly charging his special beam cannon. He had to just time it right. What's wrong, Raditz? Is that the best you can do? He mocked, earning a growl in response. I'll give you one chance to leave Earth and never come back. Raditz growled even more, TCH. To think I would even join you. Time to die. He said as he prepared his weekend attack. The attack would have destroyed Kame House if it weren't for Goku deflecting the beam into the sky. He hissed, "Darn it, Kakarot. You stubborn fool." He yelled. Goku smirked, "You're the stubborn one here." Krillin, Master Roshi and Bulma were in awe at the strength Goku was displaying. He's matching that guy blow for blow. Krillin pointed out, surprised. Yay! We're winning. Beat that meanie, Goku. Bulma cheered. Gohan cheered with her. Master Roshi smiled. Nice one, Goku. Goku then jumped backwards and suggested an idea. This battle isn't adequate for fighting, the whole island will blow. The martial artist said. Let's go to a better place if we're gonna fight. Raditz jumped back too. If you wanna play that way, lead the way, Kakarot. They both flew until they reached the area to where Raditz originally took Gohan in his timeline. Alright, let's settle this, Raditz. Goku said. Pleasure. Raditz replied, preparing another weekend attack. Unbeknownst to the 2W, except maybe Goku, Piccolo had followed them in order to get revenge on that scion who mocked him. Goku! He called for him. The scion, who was raised on Earth, looked his direction. Piccolo! He smirked. I'm only gonna help you once, got it? The Namekian said. The carefree scion grinned, whatever you say. He once again entered his stance. The tag team started trading blows with Raditz, but Goku was doing it for show to make his cover more believable. Your efforts are wasted. Raditz stated, growling. It soon came to the part where Piccolo was supposed to charge his special beam cannon in order to kill Raditz. Special beam cannon! A gruff voice shouted. A thin yellow beam with purple energy spiraling around it hit the scion's chest. Instead of missing his first shot like last time, Goku grabbed a hold of his elder brother and jumped at the last second, due to his increased speed. It was saddening to hear that his elder brother had died instead of preventing it, but he couldn't take any chances. Let me tell you a secret. There are two scions far stronger than me coming to Earth. Your power levels are nothing compared to theirs. Piccolo gasped, but Goku wasn't fazed. After that, Raditz's life force then faded away. You know, Piccolo, we make a good team. You don't have to be bad all the time. HN? Come on, I know you're a good person deep inside. The Turtle Hermit student said knowingly. The Namekian groaned, I'll think about it. He said as he flew away. The sound of a jetcopter filled the air as it landed beside Goku. He gave them a nod as he entered the copter. He assured them that the problem was took care of, defeat Raditz and befriend Piccolo, complete, Goku wrote in his mental notebook. He still had a long way to go, but he'd have to correct the errors of his timeline. He'd have to train the human warriors just like Whis did with him as well as Piccolo. He'd also needed to encourage them to train even more after Cell was taken care of. They'd probably be above Super Perfect Cell or even border around Majin Buu, Fat. But the best part is, he'd have an entire timeline to train in. He could even match Beerus if he trained hard enough. He had a long way to go. It had been a few months since Raditz had been defeated. Goku had decided to let the Z fighters train in Otherworld with King Kai, enabling them to learn the Kaioken, Spirit Bomb, and have some gravity training done due to the nature of his planet. Piccolo had decided to join the Z fighters, but only temporarily. He needed to decide if this was the right path or he should just resort to world domination. Since they had a year, they would probably have double their power and another double if the Kaioken was applied. Currently, the Z warriors were sitting in Kame House discussing the threats of the Scions from when they arrived. Piccolo decided to tag along, but he obviously avoided talking. Oh great! More bad guys to deal with in a year's time. What are we supposed to do now, guys? Krillin whined. He was tired of all the fighting and just wanted to settle down. Piccolo snorted, with that attitude, you'll be the first one to go. Piccolo stated. Krillin stuck out his tongue in response. Yamcha decided to butt in, while sipping his cup of coffee. Come on guys. In all our past adventures, we always find a way to defeat the bad guys. Everyone glanced at him. Right? Goku decided to propose his offer of training. Hey guys, why don't we go train in Otherworld? Everyone then shifted their attention to him, looking at him as if he were insane. Goku, are you nuts? I'm not gonna let you kill my Yamcha just to go train. Bulma cried, latching onto the ex-bandit's arm, who rubbed his nose in embarrassment. Well, we could teleport there. No killing needed. Goku replied. Krillin looked at him in confusion. How are we gonna teleport there? Everyone, just grab onto me. Bulma, Master Roshi, see you in a year's time. And with that, Goku used his instant transmission, which transported them to King Kai's planet. Wait. You can't leave me with that perv, she said to particularly no one while pointing to the ex-martial artist. Master Roshi grinned, oh come on Bulma. It can't be that dash, but Bulma had already struck his head, a bump rising from his head. When they arrived, all the Z warriors instantly fell to the ground. Their bodies were not used to the high gravity which differed from Earth. Oh man, Goku. You trying to kill us or something? This is nuts. Tien complained. Kaya Atsu grunting in agreement. Earth's mightiest hero, however, was not fazed by the increase in gravity. He just stood there, confused. It was until he realized he was in the past and laughed. You stay here, guys. I'll go get the resident to see if he'll accept you guys. He quickly ran to King Kai's home and called out for him. King Kai. You there? He shouted. Instead of King Kai, a monkey, which he presumed was Bubbles, came out instead. The monkey started chanting its monkeyish noises, which alerted the Kai. Oh hey! It's Bubbles, he pointed out. The monkey was a bit taken aback on how it knew his name. Bubbles, what is all that about? He yelled. Then he saw the man who was standing next to him as if he was unfazed by the planet's extra gravity. Who are you, funny-looking guy? Goku laughed nervously. Oh me? Well, you can call me Goku. You see, I got a few friends who needs to be trained for an upcoming threat on planet Earth. Can you please help them? He pleaded. King Kai contemplated about it for a little bit before he answered him back. Alright, I'll train them on one condition. Of course, Goku already knew what it was. You have to tell me a joke that'll make me laugh. Oh okay. Air. He thought about it for a while. Knock knock. Who's there? He replied, snickering for a bit. Doctor. Doctor who? A silence passed. Then a burst of laughter erupted from the Kai's mouth. Oh gosh. That was gold. All right. I'll train your friends. What about you? He asked. Nah, I'm good. I gotta get back to Earth anyways. He touched his forehead with his 2 fingers and disappeared. How does that guy withstand the gravity? King Kai thought. The Kai then turned towards the group of people who were trying to adjust to the gravity but failed. Alright, all of you. Your first test is to catch this monkey here, Bubbles. He informed. This is gonna be hell. The Z warriors simultaneously thought. The reason Goku went back to Earth was for one reason, Gohan. He needed to train him and unlock his potential. Well, maybe at least some of it, Grand Elder Guru and the Elder Kai would unlock the remnants of it. When he arrived home, he had greeted his wife with a peck on the cheek and ascended the stairs to Gohan's room. He was probably studying. "Hey Gohan!" He jumped at the sound of his father's voice behind him. Dad?" Gohan didn't like being interrupted in his studying. Goku grinned. "Hey son. Up for some training?" he asked. Gohan frowned. "But mommy said I'm not supposed to focus on training and should study more." Goku leaned into his ears. "Don't worry, she doesn't need to know." He gave his son a mischievous grin. The martial artist made an afterimage which was believable enough to fool his wife. Snickering to each other, they called for Nimbus and flew to the mountains. Alright, Gohan. Before I tell you how to utilize ki, we need to work on your physique and other elements such as speed, durability, strategic thinking, strength, precision, dexterity, and such. Gohan nodded as Goku gave him some heavy weights as Gohan had already been training with Goku prior. Goku smiled. "You know the drill, son." The Demi-Scion wasted no time as he started his brutal training regime. It consisted of advanced human workouts as well as strange workouts Goku came up with. He suggested better ways to work out, but Goku stated it's more effective as tiring your body out to the max doesn't equate to effective training. He was secretly referring to Vegeta too. Those training consisted of plowing the grounds with his fingers, which supposedly improved strength and dexterity of his fingers, running laps and cardiovascular intensity. After training finished, they both had lunch. Having energy replenished was vital for before and after training. That was then they heard a roar that they all knew too well. "Chi-Chi?" Goku said, shocked. "So you think I'd fall for a simple trick like that? My Gohan does not have a spot on his cheek." Chi-Chi screamed. "Shoot." Goku mentally slapped himself. He never really was good at perfect afterimages like Tien was. "But Chi-Chi, this training is important. I'm doing him a favor to save him from obesity," he said. He was a master at fast-talking as he had to avoid Chi-Chi's yelling. Though it was rather cute. She gasped, "My baby will not be unfit." Goku clicked his fingers. "Then you'll let me train him, right?" She thought about it but gave in. "Alright, I'll let you train him, but his studies have to be his priority," she stated. "Now come on, young man. You're in big trouble and you have to get back to studying. You've had a good 2 hours of training," she said, grabbing his tail, which earned her a shriek from Gohan. Goku nervously laughed. The test for catching bubbles was long overdue and they had moved on to trying to flatten Gregory with a hammer. This wasn't the training they expected. They had wanted to learn some new moves or power-up. This was stupid, very stupid. So this is where Goku left us? At some heavy gravity planet with some fat blue alien with a monkey and mosquito? Yamcha complained. "I heard that. Come on guys, let's just trust Goku here in this one. Maybe things will get better after this," Krillin said, trying to lighten up the mood. Piccolo snorted. He hated to say it, but he agreed with Yamcha instead. "This is just a time waster. I don't see any benefit coming from this," he moaned. It was his turn to try and flatten that annoying bug. With a battle cry, he chased the bug around the small planet. He did fare better than the others, but it still wasn't enough. Then he came up with a plan. He'd catch that bug through any means necessary. Instead of following him, he pivoted on his heel and went the other way. Gregory was surprised but was quick enough to escape the blow from the hammer. This cycle continued until Piccolo's rather peculiar body was used to the gravity enough to finally land the finishing blow on Gregory. He gave out a shriek, indicating that he had been struck. King Kai had been observing from afar and came to his side. "Wow, Piccolo! You actually did it," he said with a grin. "HN." He grunted, walking away to sit on the shade of the tree. The Z-Gang cheered as the bug had finally been hit. Now guys. You still have to all hit Gregory for us to advance in the training," King Kai stated. They all moaned. including Gregory, who had to get hit even more. Gah! Where the heck am I? A certain Scion yelled, confused. He was currently in a tight spacepod on a course to the planet we all know too well. This spiked a reaction from a bald-headed, elite commander of all Scions, Nappa. We're going to planet Earth to eradicate it and make our wish. We're also on a spacepod. Nappa answered. What? Did a little nap erase your memories? The bald Scion joked. TCH. What a fool. The Scion prince grunted in thought. Say, Nappa. Do you prefer peace, or do you prefer the eradication of life more? He asked, awaiting a response. Nappa crossed his absurdly large arms and smirked. Well, eradicating lives suits us more, don't you think? Vegeta shook his head in disgust. He exited his spacepod as he would probably get there faster if he flew. Whatever, you imbecile. You must die. He said, preparing a low-power ki blast which would incinerate him. Wait. Vegeta-Dash's screams soon faded out until they were no more. He flew away in mind-boggling speeds. While in the abyss of space, Vegeta's mind was trying to comprehend the fact that he was in the past. The evidence of that is Nappa and the details he gave him. It would take a good half hour for him to reach Earth. It was great that his lungs could withstand not having oxygen for long periods of time. Darn it, Kakarot. What happened this time? He cursed. That damn Baka better have a good explanation as to why I'm here. The Prince of all Scions growled and flew even faster. God realm, oh Lord Beerus. It seems that the other Super Saiyan God had also been transported back in time due to my mistake. He informed, grinning nervously. Beerus, however, didn't seem to care for the Saiyan Prince. He was more interested in Goku, who he thought had more potential than him. The purple feline was currently watching Goku's progress on Earth in slight interest. Whatever, Whis. At this point, you're literally packed with flaws. He teased, rubbing his face in a cat-like manner. The light purple life form pouted, fiddling with his staff in embarrassment. You don't have to be so blunt about it. He responded, sighing. Now listen up, guys. This technique is called the Kaioken and should only be used when the odds are against you or for a finishing blow. He informed the Z warriors. The Z fighters stupidly nodded and took the Kai's word for it. King Kai smirked at this. These simple humans were doing better than he initially thought. Suddenly, a red aura enveloped the resident of the absurdly small planet as he uttered the words, Kaioken. Now. As I said, this should only be used in important situations. He said with huffs in between some words. He gave a half smile as the aura dissipated, falling onto his knees. As expected, the Z fighters rushed to his sides and helped him up. He coughed a bit before announcing he was all right. Clearing his throat, he ran through instructions on how to obtain the brief power-up. The Z-Gang, including Piccolo, all smirked at each other. It was finally time to learn a move that could help them against the Scions, Earth. Alright, Gohan. Now comes the part where I teach you how to utilize Ki. They were currently sitting cross-legged. Goku was focusing intently on his stomach, his hands cupped. Sometime later, a ball of Ki faded into existence. Gohan looked surprised and rose to his knees, leaning forward. Goku smiled at the interest his son was showing. The ball soon faded away. Wow, Daddy. That's cool. Gohan said, jumping on his toes. Then he sat back down and tried to parrot what his father did. Goku shifted to his side and started instructing him. First you gotta clear your head and focus really hard. Nothing must distract you, not even the rustling of the leaves or the brush of the wind. He stated. The Demi-Scion nodded and focused even more. Now, slowly draw out the power from within you. Goku instructed. Gohan focused hard, but he still wasn't quite there. This is kinda hard, Daddy. The young Scion was having troubles finding the energy deep within. This elicited a groan of frustration. Goku chuckled, Gohan, you're too tense. Just relax. Gohan nodded and focused once more. He could even feel that energy now. Slowly, he pulled it out just as his father said. An orb of ki soon appeared between his hands. Gohan was awestruck. Did he just do that? Dad. I did it! Gohan exclaimed, throwing his hands into the air while cheering incoherent words which the older scion didn't understand. Yep, you sure did, son. He uncrossed his legs and stood up, doing a few leg exercises to compensate for the time sitting down. Gohan did likewise, but then asked a question any other child would say if they finally possessed the power of ki. Am I super strong now? He asked. Gohan soon realized how childish he was acting and blushed. Sorry Dad. He said while scratching the back of his head. Ah, don't worry about it. He replied, ruffling his son's gravity-defying hair. But you'll have to get progressively stronger. And you know what? You have a lot more potential than I do at becoming a great fighter, but that's up to you. Goku informed. Gohan dumbly nodded. The real training has now just begun. Goku began training Gohan on basic ki control exercises. He taught him how to fly, basic ki attacks. Other than the Kamehameha, he'd have to forge his own attacks, defensive techniques, and a mixed combat style of regular martial arts and Whis fighting style. This was truly the making of a great warrior. HN. So I'm finally here. Vegeta mused. He cut off his tail, which, thankfully, didn't come with the sharp, piercing pain from the last time that blasted Earthling cut it. He decided to keep his armor on for the time being until he got his regular spandex from Capsule Corporation. Gaining frustration, he shot a low-power ki blast to a nearby mountain which got destroyed on impact. I've also retained my powers. What a stress reliever. Vegeta sighed, walking a few miles ahead. He felt a weak ki, but the feeling it gave him reminded him of Goku. Charging his ki up, he burst into the sky and onto the direction the ki was at. Kakarot better have a good explanation for this. Vegeta yelled, XEX, Goku said in confusion. A mega-strong ki was headed towards him at a fast pace. It soon arrived and descended towards the ground. It was none other than Vegeta? Goku was surprised. But I thought you died in the blast along with the others. He exclaimed, surprised. TSK. Kakarot, if you survived that blast then I sure as hell did. Vegeta explained. Goku thought about it for a while before deeming it a good explanation. Well, can you at least suppress your ki a little? Master Roshi will be able to detect it in a few minutes. The Prince of all Scions grunted before complying. Daddy, who's that? Gohan emerged from the woods, having finished all of his ki exercises. He looked up to the short, but relatively big man standing beside his father. Goku searched for an explanation before clicking his fingers. He's your long-lost uncle. Goku grinned cheekily, scratching the back of his head. Uncle? Gohan parroted. He felt a bit intimidated by him. Vegeta growled, I'm not your uncle, spawn of Kakarot. I've nothing to do with your family. I thought you'd be comfortable with being called an uncle. Goku said. Well, you thought wrong. Vegeta responded, Brat, I'm merely an acquaintance, nothing else. The Demi-Scion nodded. The pure Scions burst into the sky, leaving the young half-breed to think about his new move. King Kai's planet. After they completed the Kaioken training, they advanced onto the Spirit Bomb, which was relatively easy. Alright guys. I've taught you all everything there is to know. Now, a piece of advice is to never go beyond Kaioken X2, got that? They all nodded and bid their goodbyes, descending down onto Snakeway and using the momentum to burst into the direction of the checkout station. Wow, I feel a lot faster than I was before. Krillin exclaimed, enjoying the flight and the air that rushed past him. We should be able to defeat the Scions now. Piccolo said, confident in his newfound abilities. They all soon arrived to the station where Kami was waiting for them and teleported to the lookout. They all searched for the key of the Scions, but there appeared to be no malicious key anywhere. Weird, I could have sworn that the Scions should be here by now. Tien pointed out. Maybe there was a divergence or something. Yamcha replied. So now that we're in the past, maybe there could be a better future. Goku presented his idea. Vegeta had to agree as there probably was no other way they'd go about this whole time travel thing. Whatever Kakarot Baka. Vegeta responded. Goku then sat down cross-legged and pulled out a notepad. Great. Now we have to correct the bad mistakes. Unless they were a catalyst to a transformation, for example, SSJ2 Gohan, we should plan ahead. First, we should prevent the android massacres around major cities around Earth. But whatever happens, we shouldn't destroy Android 18 for Krillin, you know? We would confront Cell early and let him absorb Android 18 and 17, letting the original timeline run its course. We would fake getting hurt by the Cell Juniors and Android 16 would get destroyed by Cell, which would serve as a catalyst to Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 transformation. Everything would be normal minus me dying, so Gohan wouldn't have to live with regret and Goten would have a father. You would hook up with Bulma prior and voila. Goku dubbed the title of his planning notebook, Goku and Vegeta's Happy TT Adventure. Vegeta snatched the notebook off of him and read the contents of their plans for the Cell saga of the timeline, since the Frieza saga will be dealt with minimal changes. He agreed for all but one thing, Kakarot, it will not be named that ridiculous title. He growled and scribbled the happy part of the title and threw it back to Goku. Geez, Vegeta. You always have to disagree with everything I do. Goku pouted. Vegeta snorted, that's because you will, and always will, be a naive baka. He replied. Killjoy. Goku commented. Currently, the humans and Piccolo were searching for the Saiyans. For some reason, they were unable to track their ki to determine if they were here or not. They had searched all the wastelands near the estimated location of their landing. They were utterly confused. Did something happen in their path to Earth? Are they already here but hiding? Many thoughts went through the Z-Fighters' heads, but they seemed to find no plausible conclusion as to what happened. That's strange. Krillin mused. We've checked everywhere, but the Saiyans are nowhere to be found. Yamcha smirked, maybe they ran off when they saw our extraordinary, newfound powers. Yamcha even began to chuckle. I wouldn't blame him. Piccolo snapped his head back, as if he was gonna scold him for that comment, which he was. Don't be a fool. You're not safe from an enemy unless he's confirmed dead. He said coldly. That's pretty dark, Green Man. Yamcha stated, adding a little insult at the end to elicit a reaction. What did you call me? Piccolo snarled, fists balled. Tien then but in between their senseless dispute, intending to dispel any ill feeling. Guys, calm down will ya? They both huffed before looking away from each other. Kaiatsu decided to propose an idea. How about we go to Goku's and see if he has any idea? For once, they all agreed. Let's go guys. Krillin said. They all burst into the air, leaving dust particles in their wake. XV. The young Demi-Scion had spent all day trying to forge his own move, but nothing seemed to work. At last, he settled on imitating Piccolo's explosive demon wave and call it the Masenko. He raised his hands above his head in a diagonal position and concentrated his energy, readying his ki to release it into the deep forest. With a battle cry, he released his beam of golden energy. Masenko! The ki-based attack shone throughout the forest, destroying anything that happened to cross his path. Luckily, no animals or critters were hurt. Phew! That was awesome! Gohan exclaimed. Gohan suddenly felt a shift in the air and entered his battle stance, staying alert of any sneak attacks. Who's there? He asked, threateningly. Don't worry, Gohan. The voice revealed itself to be Krillin. It's just us. Oh. Gohan said, dumbfounded. Anyways, have you heard of any signs of malicious ki? Tien asked. Gohan quickly shook his head no, still confused as to what the whole situation was. Let me fill you in. Piccolo insisted, the Saiyans' arrival date is due today and for some reason, they're not here. We've looked everywhere, from the most obvious places to the least expected. Yeah, he's right. Krillin confirmed. Mind telling us where Goku is? Daddy went with some weird spiky-haired man. I don't know why though. He mused. They all assumed it was probably Goku leading the Scions away from the forest so no creatures would get in the way. Sounds good, kid. Wanna tag along? I wanna show these Scions my new fighting prowess. Yamcha boasted, prompting Gohan to follow. Alright, let's go. Alright, Kakarot. I sense them coming. Vegeta pointed out. Yup. We're gonna have to fight again, don't we? Goku queried. Vegeta nodded, keeping our cover as time travelers is vital. Besides, the idea of fighting you is pleasing. He chuckled. Goku shrugged. Suddenly, the Earthlings arrived at a similar wasteland to the one where Goku and Vegeta first fought. Luckily, Nappa wasn't there to help plant the Cybermen, so all they could do was just watch the two face off. From afar, they were in awe at the exchange of punches and kicks. They were evenly matched. Guys, this is unreal. Yamcha gasped. Daddy's so strong. Gohan said in utter astonishment. How his father got this strong, he didn't know. Alright, here I come, Kakarot. Vegeta said, rushing to Goku's position. Take this. Goku said, parroting Vegeta's movements. Shockwaves emitted left and right, a mini earthquake also being added to the mix, increasing the total chaos in the area. Vegeta attempted a right hook, but Goku stopped the fist, countering it with a knee to the stomach. However, the kick never landed and the Prince of All Scions used his wild sense to come right behind Goku and sledgehammer him into the ground with interlaced, balled-up fists. Goku quickly got up from the hard ground and burst into the air, intending to land a hard punch to the stomach. Vegeta crossed his arms in an X shape which prevented the hit and attempted to counter with a brutal leg sweep. He, however, dodged it by jumping into the air and landed a devastating blow with his elbow, sending the Saiyan Prince crashing into the rock surface. Goku wasted no time and got into the ground, grabbing the downed Vegeta's leg and sended him flying into the air. However, while in the air, Vegeta sent a destructive wave of harmful ki, intending to do placeholder damage for a greater combo. Goku managed to dodge it, but Vegeta teleported right in front of him, sending a ki cannon straight to his exposed face, sending him backwards. He landed into a vertical surface, getting stuck inside it. Vegeta flew in front of him. Looks like I finally win against you, Kakarot. Vegeta smirked, crossing his arms. Oh really? We'll see about that. He gave a scream, making a barrier of ki to allow him to escape and deliver a kick to the back of Vegeta's head, using the blinding light to mask his movements. Vegeta grunted in pain but smirked. Goku did so too. I'd love to stay and fight, but those peeking friends of yours might assist you in defeating me. It'd be really unfair. He slowly ascended into the air with his arms crossed. As much as I hate to say it, consider this your win. The Emperor of this galaxy is telling me to report for duty. Lucky bastards. He lied, trying to make his act seem reliable. Oh okay, but never terrorize this planet ever again. Goku warned, secretly lying too. He huffed and seemingly flew out of the Earth's atmosphere. XV. The Z-Fighters saw this as a chance to go and talk to Goku. They soon landed in front of him. Goku, what was that? How'd you do that, Daddy? Man, Goku. That was awesome. That was interesting. Goku was bombarded with questions until he shushed all of them. Guys, let's not get too crazy. He pleaded. Let's go to Master Roshi's to explain all of this. The legendary martial artist prompted. They all nodded and burst into the air. All of the Z-Warriors soon landed at their destination, Kame House. They went inside and all stared at Goku. They all wanted answers. The former student of Roshi decided to use the hyperbolic time chamber as his primary foundation of his cover-up. Well, you see. There's this place inside the lookout that you can get a year's worth of training in just a day. It's called the hyperbolic time chamber. It's a separate dimension from this one, and the further you travel in it, the harsher the gravity gets. he explained. Bulma was amazed. So it's like the gravity chamber my dad is working on? Bulma inquired. I guess you could say that. Well, let's go. I want to get strong, you know. Yamcha and Tien both said in unison. I also find this place interesting. Piccolo admitted. Goku smiled. Well, you guys can go now if you want. Just ask Mr. Popo about it. Then let's go, guys. Krillin said. That's it for this story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more, like this video, hit that notification bell, and maybe even give a comment if you want this series to continue. With that being said, I'll see you all in the next part.